Ngozi and Obianuju were more than just friends. They were like twins. They grew up on the same street in Enugu. They walked to school together, ate together, even wore the same hairstyle every Saturday. Everyone called them Double Double. Obianuju, wait for me! Ngozi would shout as they ran to school. I can't leave you behind, my twin. Obianuju would laugh. In secondary school, they sat together in class. At the university, they stayed in the same room. They shared everything: rice, clothes, secrets, even money. If Ngozi was sick, Obianuju stayed awake all night. If Obianuju cried, Ngozi wiped her tears. One day, Obianuju said, Ngozi, when we marry, let's build our houses side by side. Ngozi laughed. Yes, our children will also be best friends. But something changed many years later. After they finished school, both of them were posted for NYSC. Obianuju went to Sokoto. Ngozi was sent to Adamawa. One evening, Ngozi called Obianuju. Her voice was full of joy. Uju, you won't believe it. I've met someone. Who? Obianuju asked. His name is Adamu Muazu. He's tall, fine, and kind. He's the only son of a big politician. He drives a black jeep and lives in a big house. Uju, I think he's serious about me. Obianuju forced a smile over the phone. That's nice. I'm happy for you. But after the call, she sat quietly on her bed. Her heart was not happy. She looked at her face in the mirror and touched her skin. Am I not finer than Ngozi? She whispered. Why is she always the lucky one? That night, she could not sleep. She kept thinking about Adamu, and that was the beginning of something dark in her heart. 1 year later, Adamu and Ngozi got married. The wedding was like a movie. Senators came. Big men in Agbada filled the hall. There was gold everywhere, on the chairs, on the cake, even on the walls. Famous musicians sang. People took pictures non-stop. Obianuju wore a long red gown. Her smile looked bright, but her heart was heavy. As the couple danced, people clapped and sprayed money. Obianuju stood at the corner, watching. She smiled with her mouth, but her eyes were cold. She's really marrying him, she said to herself. She has everything now. Years passed. Ngozi's life became more beautiful. She gave birth to 3 children. She lived in a big house in GRA. Adamu bought her a brand new Rolls Royce in 2024. She wore real diamonds. She traveled to Dubai and London. Still, she didn't forget her friend. Uju, come for my birthday, she would say. Uju, Adamu just bought me a car. Come and see it. Uju, I got new clothes for you from Dubai. Ngozi saw Obianuju as a sister, but Obianuju started feeling pain in her heart each time her friend called. One day, she sat on her bed and said, why must it be her? Why not me? She looked around her small room. No husband, no child, no car, no helper. Then her thoughts became dark. If I can't have a man like Adamu, she said quietly, I will take Ngozi's own. She smiled, but it was not a good smile. From that day, she started planning something very bad in her heart, something that would change everything forever. Ngozi was happy. Her life was full. A loving husband, 3 beautiful kids, and a good home. But she still wanted one more thing, for her best friend Obianuju to be happy too. One Sunday afternoon, Ngozi said to her husband, Adamu, do you have any single friend for Obianuju? She is still alone. Adamu smiled. I have many friends. Let me talk to Abdullahi. His father owns many oil companies. The next week, they all went out together. Abdullahi came in a black jeep. He wore a white kaftan and gold wristwatch. He smiled at Obianuju. Nice to meet you. But Obianuju rolled her eyes and said nothing. After the outing, Ngozi asked, Uju, do you like him? No, Obianuju said. He looks like someone who didn't finish school. He's not my type. Ngozi was confused, but he's kind and rich. Obianuju cut her off. Money is not everything. Weeks later, Ngozi introduced her to Chuka, a young real estate boss. He had houses all over Enugu and Abuja. Chuka came with flowers and a gift. Nice to meet you. Obianuju, I heard many good things about you. Obianuju smiled a little, but the next day, she told Ngozi, he talks too much. I don't like men that talk too much. Ngozi didn't understand. She asked her husband one night, why does she keep rejecting them? Adamu shook his head. Maybe she's not ready. But the truth was hidden in Obianuju's heart. I don't want this man, she said to herself. I want Adamu. He is gentle. He is rich. He is strong. He gives Ngozi everything. I want that life. But there was a problem. Adamu was not like other men. He loved only Ngozi. He didn't look at other women, and he didn't like female visitors sleeping in his house. So Obianuju made a plan, a wicked plan. If I pretend that I want to die, she said, Ngozi will beg her husband to let me live with them. And once I'm inside that house, I will take over. She smiled to herself. Then she opened her cupboard, picked a dark bottle, and drank something bitter. Obianuju's neighbor ran to the house shouting, She's on the floor! She drank something bad! People rushed in. They carried her to the hospital. When Ngozi heard the news, she ran into the hospital crying. What happened to my friend? What did she take? Obianuju opened her eyes slowly. Her voice was weak. I'm tired, Ngozi. I have nothing. No husband, no child, no one to love me. I just want to disappear. Ngozi held her friend's hand tight. No, Uju, don't talk like that. Your time will come. God will bless you too. Please don't leave me. Tears dropped from Ngozi's eyes. For 2 days, she stayed by Obianuju's side in the hospital. She fed her, she cleaned her, she prayed for her. That night, at home, she sat on the bed and told Adamu everything. My friend is not okay. She needs help. Can we bring her to stay with us for some time? Adamu frowned. Ngozi, this girl is dangerous. She is always comparing her life to yours. That is not a good heart. No, Ngozi said. She's not evil. She's just sad. She's my sister. Adamu looked at his wife. I don't feel good about this, he said. But if it will make you happy, we will talk about it tomorrow. Ngozi smiled and held his hand. But unknown to her, Obianuju had already started the biggest lie of her life. And soon, the danger would enter their home. Ngozi did not eat for 3 days. She sat on the bed, crying and shaking her head. Adamu brought her food, but she pushed it away. Please, my love, she said. Obianuju has no family. She said she wants to die. Let her stay with us just for a short time. Adamu looked at her. Ngozi, this girl is not clean. I feel it. I don't like her eyes. She is my sister, Ngozi said, crying again. If she dies, I will blame myself forever. Adamu stood up and walked to the window. He stayed quiet for a long time. Then he said slowly, Okay, let her stay, but just for a while. Ngozi ran to hug him. Thank you! Thank you! The next day, Obianuju entered their big mansion with a small bag and a big smile. She hugged Ngozi. Thank you, my dear sister. You saved me. Adamu stood behind them, watching. He didn't smile. At first, Obianuju acted like a helper. She cleaned the house. She helped the children with homework. She brought water for Ngozi. See, Ngozi said to her husband, I told you, she's good. But after 2 weeks, things changed. Obianuju started wearing short clothes around the house. Tiny shorts, small tops. Sometimes she didn't wear bra. One morning, Adamu came to the room angry. Ngozi, talk to your friend. She's walking around almost naked. I don't like it. Ngozi laughed. She's single. Let her feel free. She means no harm. But Adamu didn't laugh. He walked away and closed the door. Then something strange happened. Ngozi began to feel weak. Her head was hot. Her legs were cold. She couldn't eat much. She cried at night when the pain came. Every week, her body looked smaller. Her eyes became dull. Her skin lost its shine. She started visiting different hospitals, but each doctor said, Nothing is wrong with you. Your body is fine. Ngozi looked in the mirror one night and cried, This is not me. What is happening to me? She didn't know that Obianuju always put something small in her tea, something dark. And every night, when Ngozi was sleeping, Obianuju stood at the door and watched her with a cold smile. Weeks passed. Ngozi could not even sit up without help. She started to stool on herself. Her legs shook when she tried to walk. Sometimes she cried in her sleep. Her children watched her with fear. Obianuju stayed close like a loving sister. She brought food, gave sponge baths, and wiped Ngozi's mouth. But every night, when no one was looking, Obianuju went to her room, looked into the mirror and whispered, Soon, very soon. One night, Ngozi called her husband. Her voice was slow and soft. Adamu knelt beside her bed. My love, she said, holding his hand. Please, take care of our children. Don't let anyone hurt them. Promise me. Tears ran down Adamu's face. I promise, he said, but you will not die. Ngozi closed her eyes. I am tired. That night, she slept and never woke up. The whole house was silent. Adamu sat beside her body, holding her cold hand, shaking his head. Obianuju ran into the room and screamed, "No! My sister is gone! My sister is gone!" She cried louder than everyone. At the burial, she wore black. She fainted twice and rolled on the ground. People said Obianuju really loved her, but deep in her heart, Obianuju was smiling. Now, the house was quiet and Obianuju had a new plan. She was not done yet. After the burial, Obianuju packed her clothes and folded her wrapper. She dragged her small bag to the door. Adamu was sitting in the living room with a tired face. The children were quiet. Nobody smiled in that house anymore. As Obianuju opened the door, Adamu said, "Wait." She turned back, pretending to look weak. "Please, stay." Adamu said, "The children are used to you. You help them sleep. You help them eat. You are like a mother to them now." Obianuju quickly dropped her bag and ran to hug him. "Thank you," she said, fake tears in her eyes. "I will never forget this." That night, she knocked on Adamu's door, holding a pillow. "What is it?" he asked. "I'm scared," she whispered. "Every corner of that guest room reminds me of Ngozi. I keep hearing her voice. Please, can I stay in this room?" Adamu looked at her for a long time. "You can sleep on the second bed," he said. "Thank you." She smiled. She laid down quietly that night, but inside her mind, she was counting her steps. One step closer to the throne, she thought. After 1 week, Adamu woke up and saw Obianuju on his bed. She smiled at him like nothing happened. "Good morning," she said sweetly. "I had a bad dream. I moved here by mistake." Adamu didn't say a word. From that night, she never went back to the second bed. 8 months passed. Obianuju's stomach became big. She walked slowly and held her back. One morning, while eating yam, she touched her belly and said, "It's a boy. I can feel it." Adamu looked at her. He didn't speak. He just stood up and went into his room. The next day, he traveled to Lagos for a political meeting. As soon as he left, Obianuju changed. She woke the children at 5 a.m. "Get up, lazy goats. Watch the plates. Clean the toilet. Sweep the whole house." The children ran around with tears in their eyes. She threw a mop at Ngozi's second daughter. "Use it well, or I will beat you." She made Hawa, Ngozi's first daughter, kneel under the sun for 2 hours. When Hawa started crying, she said, "Auntie, why are you treating us like this? You were mommy's best friend." Obianuju turned sharply and slapped her hard. "Shut up! You will soon die like your mother," she shouted. The girl fell down, holding her cheek. The house went silent. Even the birds outside stopped singing. Obianuju walked to the mirror and smiled at herself. "Soon, no one will remember Ngozi," she said. "This house will be mine forever." But someone was listening from behind the curtain. It was little Chimdi, the last child. His small eyes were wide and his little hands were shaking. Adamu came back from his trip. As he entered the compound, Hawa ran out and hugged him tight. "Daddy, Daddy," she cried. "Auntie slapped me and said I will die like mommy." Adamu looked at her face. There was a red mark on her cheek. Her eyes were swollen. Obianuju came outside quickly and knelt down. She started crying. Adamu, she's lying. I love these children like my own. Why would I hurt them? Adamu looked at both of them. He didn't say a word. Later that night, he sat in bed. Hawa came in and held his hand. Daddy, please believe me. Auntie is not nice when you are not around. Adamu looked at her eyes. They were full of fear. Her body was shaking. He hugged her gently and said, "Go and sleep, my child." The next morning, Adamu picked up his phone. "Hello, I need a cameraman. Can you come to my house today?" By evening, a young man in a blue shirt came in with a small box. He installed small CCTV cameras in the sitting room, kitchen, and hallway. Nobody noticed. Adamu said, "I just want to see how things go when I am not here." The cameras were hidden. Only Adamu knew. Obianuju didn't know how wicked acts were about to be caught. 2 weeks later, Adamu had to travel again. It was just for 2 days. As soon as his car left the gate, Obianuju changed. She locked the fridge. She locked the kitchen. She took the children's food and threw it in the dustbin. "Go and drink water if you are hungry," she shouted. Then she boiled water and poured it on the floor. "Hawa, come and scrub this floor with your hands," she shouted. Hawa cried. Her hands were red, but Obianuju didn't stop. At night, Obianuju stood near Ngozi's picture on the wall. She touched the picture and whispered, "You were too soft. That's why I won." Then she sat on the chair, laughed, and said to herself, "Ngozi, you died for nothing. I have your husband now. I sleep on your bed. I wear your clothes. You were too weak." She smiled, not knowing a small red light was blinking in the corner. The camera caught everything. 2 days later, Adamu came back. The children ran to him. They looked tired and hungry. That night, when the house was quiet, Adamu went into his home office. He took the flash drive from the camera system and plugged it into his laptop. He watched his daughter crying while scrubbing hot floor. He saw Obianuju throwing food away and laughing. He saw her talking to Ngozi's picture like a mad woman. Adamu's hands began to shake. His eyes were red. He paused the video and put his head in his hands. Then he heard it. The door behind him slowly opened. Adamu turned his head slowly. Someone was standing there. It was Obianuju. Her eyes were shining, and in her hand was something wrapped in clothes. If this story shocked you, hit the like button now and share your thoughts in the comment section. I will upload the continuation when I reach 100 comments. Thanks. Also, what would you do if your best friend turned against you like Obianuju? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss the next part. More drama is coming.